So today, we're going to dive into a really fundamental shift in how we think about creating value. We're moving beyond just, delivering a service and into the much trickier, much more human world of designing an experience.
I mean, think about it for a second. You could have two hotels, right? Same price, same star rating, same amenities on the website, but one stay is just forgettable. It was fine. The other one, you're telling your friends about it for years. What's the deal with that? The service on paper might be exactly the same, but something much deeper is at play. And that is the difference between service and experience.
And this slide just lays it out so perfectly. A service is the tangible stuff. It's the clean room, the hot meal, the flight that gets you from A to B. But the experience, that's all happening inside the customer's head. It's how they perceive and feel about what you delivered. And that's shaped by everything, their expectations, their mood, what happened 5 minutes before they walked in your door. The same service absolutely does not equal the same experience.
So this is the big idea, the key takeaway right here. You cannot package up a perfect experience and just hand it to someone. It's not a product on a shelf. An experience is built, it's constructed piece by piece, inside the mind of your customer. They're the ones doing the building.
And if you really buy into that idea, it completely changes how you see the customer, right? If they're the ones constructing the experience, they're not just some passive consumer at the end of a process. They're an active participant in creating it. I love this quote because it just nails it. A customer isn't just a user or a recipient. They are constantly taking everything you do, every word, every design choice, every interaction, and they are actively assigning meaning to it. They are essentially a co-creator of their own experience.
And how do they make all that meaning? Well, it's not happening in a vacuum. It's all filtered through their own unique lens. Their cultural background, for instance, sets up their basic expectations. Their personal goals for that day. Are they trying to relax, celebrate, feel important? That defines what success even looks like to them. And of course, the social context, who they're with, what's going on around them, that shapes the entire vibe.
Okay, so that brings us to the big practical question. If we admit that we don't have total control over the final experience, then what are we supposed to do? Are we just guessing? How do we actually go from just hoping for a good outcome to intentionally designing for one?
Well, the answer is you have to shift your whole mindset. You move from being idea-driven to being insight-driven. It's about taking a methodical, knowledge-based approach to really, truly understanding your customer's world so you can design the perfect conditions for them.
This process here is kind of like a funnel. You start with this huge mess of raw data, then you organize it into information, and from there you get an understanding of what is actually happening. But the magic, the real goal, is that next step, insight. Insight is the deep understanding of why it's happening. See, design that comes from just data is basically a shot in the dark, but design that flows from real insight, that's strategic.
And what's the number one tool we use to capture all that juicy insight? It's the persona. Now, this is not just some made-up character sketch you invent in a meeting. A real persona is a hardcore, research-based artifact. Its entire job is to take all that data and understanding and distill it into a concrete, actionable tool that guides every single design decision you make.
Okay, so what makes a persona powerful? What keeps it from just being another document that gathers dust on a server somewhere? It all comes down to deeply understanding three core ingredients: the customer's needs, their drivers, and their expectations.
So let's break down needs. You can really split them into two buckets. On one side, you have the functional needs. These are the table stakes: price, safety, does it work? You have to get these right, no question. But the magic, the stuff that makes an experience memorable, that creates real value, that almost always comes from meeting those deeper emotional needs. The desire for escape, the thrill of trying something new, or the feeling that this experience says something about who they are.
And building on that, we have motivations, or you could call them drivers. So, if needs are what the customer wants, motivations are why they want it. Are they fundamentally seeking something new and different? Are they maybe looking for a little social status? Or are they on a journey of learning and self-improvement? Understanding these deep drivers is the key to predicting how they'll behave.
And finally, let's talk about expectations. Honestly, the quality of pretty much any experience can be boiled down to this simple, powerful formula. It's a straight-up comparison between what a customer expected would happen and the reality of what they actually got. When reality beats expectation, you create delight, a positive, memorable experience. When it falls short, well, that's when you get disappointment.
All right, so how does this all come together in the real world? Knowing the theory's one thing, but actually applying it effectively,
That's where the real work begins. First, let's talk about what to avoid. This right here is what a useless persona looks like. It's generic, there's no real evidence to back it up, and worst of all, it doesn't tell you why people behave the way they do. If you can't draw a straight line from the persona to a design choice, then it's frankly just a waste of everyone's time. Instead, this is what we're aiming for. A powerful persona is informed by data, sure, but it's driven by insight. It's deeply aware of the customer's context, and most importantly, it is directly usable. You should be able to hold up any design decision and ask, does this serve the needs and motivations of our persona? And get a really clear yes or no.
And this brings us to what is, I think, the most profound principle in this entire explainer. If you remember just one thing, make it this. Your job is not to design an experience. It's to design the conditions for meaningful experiences to emerge. Think of yourself as an architect or a set designer. You create the stage, you control the lighting, you set up the environment where something powerful and personal can happen for the customer.
So I'll leave you with this question to chew on for your own work. Stop asking what experience you want to deliver. Instead, start asking, what are the conditions, the physical, the digital, the emotional environment that I am actually designing? And do those conditions set my customer up for the meaningful experience they are trying so hard to create for themselves?